Hi everybody, and welcome to PawnBroker 2020. I'm Dave.
And I'm Rob. We have over 40 years of pawnbroking experience between us. We're now working at Data Age, looking to share some of our insights and things that we've seen over the years across the country with our fellow pawnbrokers, and hopefully it makes your life a little bit easier.
So the first thing we want to talk about is budgets. What are your goals for 2020, and how do you plan to get there? So the first thing that we look at, obviously, is going to be the financial piece, because that's a piece that runs everything for us. So, Rob, what are some things you did when you were doing budgets in your stores?
Well, first off, I wanted to set my goal. What was I looking for? And me, I was always looking for the dream. The dream for every pawnbroker is to be outside the store, have it run very well, and sipping a Mai Tai, sipping a cocktail on a beach somewhere, and checking in every now and again to make sure that everything is going well. So that I started with that in mind. So I always begin with the end in mind. First thing I did, I want to get the budget. So I had to take a look at last year's numbers and figure out what I wanted to do as far as budget-wise. Basically that's where it all starts with a budget, Dave, wouldn't you say?
Sure. So we look at KPIs, which are key performance indicators, and key performance indicators in a pawn shop are what your retail sales are, basically what your net revenue. Anything that goes into the net revenue line is part of your key performance indicators, which would be your loan balance, pawn service charge collected, and any revenues that come across the counter. So when you're budgeting, what are some things that you looked at, Rob, when you were trying to create a budget for next year? What would you look at?
Well, like you said, you want to look at your retail sales. You want to make sure you're doing more. Budget aggressively, but be reasonable. Your pawn service charge, you want to make sure your loan balance is providing those pawn service charges to add those two together to get to your net revenue. Right. Plus any additional, layaway revenue, repair revenue, whatever it may take to get there. And then obviously once you get the revenue, that's great, but what else do we have to do after that?
Well, you got to separate things into expenses. So you have controllable expenses, you have non-controllable expenses. The controllable expenses, including payroll, are everything that costs you to run your store that you can actually be in control of. Non-controllables would be things like rent, your security system, your telephone, internet, electricity, all those things. You can't control them, they are what they are. But as you're looking at your revenue stream for the following year, take a look back as far as you can and look and see what you've done each year and what the increase has been each year, and then plan accordingly for this. If your increase has been 8 or 10% in sales each year, obviously you're not going to budget yourself for 25 or 30% increase this year. You'll budget yourself accordingly and then plan. So what are some things you would do to help you make budget?
Oh, wow. It all starts with marketing. Technology nowadays is far and above what it used to be. A handshake and a smile used to go a long ways. Many stores I've been a part of, you'd go shake the hand of the nearby business owners, talk to the community, get involved with the homeowners associations, things like that. And those are still great things to do, but technology is where that's at. Text messaging, Facebook, Instagram, you're always Snapgramming something. There's always something to do. That's where you got to start. You got to figure out a plan how you're going to drive that. So it all starts with your people. You got to have people that are behind you and that are willing to follow you.
Yeah, we'll talk about this in future episodes, but one of the things is you don't loan to sell, you sell to loan. You do a loan based on the customer coming back and pick it up, because 75 to 80% of the time they do. So you plan yourself accordingly. You want to make as much money as you can on your loan balance, which is one of those KPIs, which is pawn service charge. So all those things play in together, and we want to make sure that when you're paying your bills, what line on that dashboard report, what line are you looking at to pay your bills?
My expense line.
No, to pay your bills.
My revenue line.
Net revenue. Net revenue is what pays all your bills. Net revenue is where all your money comes out of. So when you take a look at your budget, if it costs you $20,000 a month to run your store, you've got to do $20,000 plus each month in the net revenue line. That's when you start making money. And I don't know about you, but I looked at my net revenue on my dashboard, 10, 15, 20 times a day. That was what I ran my business for. I was running my business for cash. I was always looking to make that money.
Just as many times as you look at that net revenue, you've got to look at your bank account. You got to make sure that the money's going in the right direction and make adjustments as they go. So how many months would you recommend doing a budget for, Dave?
12 months.
Oh, okay.
I do a whole year.
Absolutely, and I agree. A lot of people will do just a fraction. They'll do a few months, and we'll adjust as we go. Well, that's not a plan. That's not a begin with the end in mind. That's not going to get you onto the beach. 12 months is the industry standard, and it's basically business standard.
So the goal is the beach.
The goal's definitely
the goal's always the beach.
Yeah. For any of us who have been on that pawn counter, it's rewarding, but it wears on you after a while, and the goal is the beach.
Yeah, we work hard, but we play hard too. So thanks again for watching us. Stay tuned for future episodes on PawnBrokers 2020.